Hello, everybody. Andre Khatchaturian here with Jason Takhtadjian. Armenia losing 1-0 to Faroe Islands in their match day 5 of the UEFA Nations League. Jason is rubbing his forehead in disgust from that horrendous performance by Armenia. You watched the game. What did you see?
I wish I didn't watch the game. It was an hour and a half, 2 hours that I can't get back in my morning. I have a really, serious and demanding job here in Fresno. Last thing I needed to do was get myself riled up in the morning watching Armenia squander chance after chance after chance. And they're from the guys that you would expect that we've talked about before that are supposed to lead the next, line of Armenian youth and talent forward. But instead we have Ranos trying to be a playmaker when he's a striker, or Spurtian taking 20-25 yard rocket shots that end up into the crowd like every time. It's unfortunate and it's frustrating because the chances were created. Okay, like if there's one positive, Armenia created chances to score, especially towards the end of the game. It's one thing to create chances; it's another thing to completely squander them. I think it was Hambar Tsumyan who received a pass from Ranos, which was actually a pretty nice chip towards the end of the game. It was in the 84th minute, I believe. And instead of controlling the ball and trying to go for the far post because he was towards the goalkeeper's left side, the ball ricochets off of his hand and goes out of bounds for a goal kick. I mean that play alone summarized the frustrations of Armenian soccer in this game against a team that's inferior to them, let's be honest, in all accounts, whether it's just by squad value or by what DraftKings or any sports book would have placed Armenia, which you mentioned earlier. Armenia were the favorites in this game, but they didn't play like it.
No, and it's extremely disappointing. You and I have talked about, I think disappointing is the word for Armenia football since March 31st, 2021, which is the when Armenia went 3-0 in World Cup qualification by beating Romania 3-2. They were 3-0 at the time. Since then, it's been uh more than 3 years, 3.5 years at this point, more than 3.5 years. In those 3.5 years, they only have 4 wins to show for it. If I'm not correct, if 5 wins, I'm sorry. Let's not forget that June Kazakhstan win that you were able to cover.
That was a
But
friendly, yeah.
yeah, so only 5 wins since then, and they've played a lot of games. I'm looking at their match log right now, and there's two. I'm not going to sit here and count all of them, but they have, it's just been disappointing, and they've had some big losses: 6-0 to Germany, a 5-0 to North Macedonia back in 2022 in the World Cup qualifiers, a 1-1 draw against Liechtenstein during that same qualification process, a 9-0 loss in the friendly to Norway, 5-0 loss in the Nations League to Ukraine. I can go on and on, losing to your arch rival Turkey after holding a 1-0 lead, and then losing to Latvia in the Euro qualifiers. These are losses to some bad squads, and a 2-2 draw against Cyprus, I'm looking at here. And then they lost to Kosovo as well. These are really, really bad losses. And this is up there with it as maybe one of the worst losses in Armenia's history. At home, must win game in Nations League against an inferior opponent, and you just poop the bed, like literally poop the bed so badly that the poop seeped through the bed sheets and onto the mattress. So you don't you don't just need new bed sheets. You need a whole mattress, maybe a whole new bed. That's how bad it is.
I'll take it a step further. They need a new bedroom, okay? They need a new bedroom at this point, okay? Because everything needs to be changed, whether it's, the way the fans are supporting, the way that the presidency is run, the way that the team is constructed, the way that the players are even going into these games. As much as we want to blame managers, at the end of the day, the players are the
Exactly.
guys who need to put the
Thank
ball
you.
in the back of the net. Okay. At the end of the day, the players need to step up. You can lay out the best tactics in front of a squad, and as a coach, you have to hope that each player individually knows their role. Okay. But as a player, you have the responsibility to go and win the game.
Yes,
Okay, you're on the field. You're playing.
100%. And let me add to that. I understand fans aren't happy with the federation, with the management, and there's a lot of finger pointing right now. But at the end of the day, as a player, you're on the pitch, you're trying to play well at the end of the day, for yourself, maybe you don't like your manager, you don't like your coach in any sport. Let's say you're the, I'm going to make an NFL analogy. You're like, let's say you're the Raiders and you're a garbage team. You're not making the playoffs. At the end of the day, the players on that team are still going to work their butt off to win every game they can because of A, pride, B, for their own salaries. If you perform
Their
well in
livelihood. It's their
tournaments,
livelihood.
yeah, it's for your livelihood. And none of these guys are showing up. There's zero leadership. I keep being told Edward Spertian is this godsend hero, and he hasn't done anything. Nothing. Lucas Zelarayan I just feel like he comes to these international games and it's just cardio for him. He just gets a nice cardio workout and he flies back to the Middle East. There's no leadership on the pitch. There's no leader on the pitch. And obviously, you know where I'm getting to here. It's ever since Henrik Mkhitaryan has left, this has been a disaster for Armenia. He was the heart and soul of the team. The way he left was very unceremonious. There's a lot of, it seems like there was a lot of heads butting between Mkhitaryan and the federation. And right now, Mkhitaryan is the one laughing because he's seeing that, hey, without me, you guys can't even beat the Faroe Islands.
Yeah, instead, he's scoring goals against Juventus and starting consistently for Italy's best team in
Yes,
Inter Milan.
he would still be the best player on this team right now. Don't say otherwise, right?
No, I don't think you can say otherwise right now because there's no proof. Otherwise, you have a guy like Lucas Zelarayan, for example, that you mentioned that would be the veteran. But meanwhile, he gets the yellow card in this game, and I don't think he's going to be available for the Latvia match.
Zelarayan's peak was in the MLS, which is maybe the sixth or seventh best league in the world. Mkhitaryan is still playing at a high level in the Italian league and in important,
he's a starter. He's a starter.
Yeah.
He's a consistent starter. And he's 35. I get it. He's no spring chicken anymore. He's on his last legs.
35 is young these days. Hey, I'm 34.
But I get it, but what I'm trying to allude to is if Armenia really want to have a next generation of talented players, you got to have some sort of role model. You got to have somebody there, and clearly Armenia doesn't have that right now.
No, they don't have that. They didn't have a coach, so they need to figure that out. It starts from the top. Obviously, there's a lot of people upset with the federation. I don't care who's in charge of the federation. These guys. I've been told that these guys, Grant Leon Ranos, Edward Spertian, they're the future, and they haven't done anything. But we're a glass half full podcast, Jason. So there is a silver lining here. At the time of this recording, North Macedonia is playing Latvia. And they are winning right now. So let's assume that result holds and North Macedonia wins, Latvia loses. Armenia will still have a chance to not be relegated. It all will come down to Monday. They will need to secure a draw against Latvia on Monday. On Sunday, in order to stay in League C. And there's even a smaller chance that Armenia could still be promoted to League B. So they're still alive here, Jason. They would need to defeat Latvia on Sunday and have Faroe Islands lose to North Macedonia, which is the likely outcome. And all of a sudden they'll end up with 7 points and be in the second seed in their group, which means they will be qualified to the promotional playoff, which takes place in 2025. So there is a silver lining here still.
There is a silver lining. They just have to take notes from FC Noah at this point because, their path to qualifying to possibly a promotion to League B is jumping through multiple hoops, and Armenia can't even jump through a home game hoop against the Faroe Islands. So as much as we are glass half full, yes, mathematically Armenia have that chance, and the fact that it's still possible for them coming into the last day of match play is a positive. But again, it's an away game. It's against Latvia.
I think the fact that it's in Riga helps Armenia here. They don't have a home advantage right now. It seems like a lot of negative energy, a lot of negative vibes, and maybe this team is too young and they can't put that aside and focus on the game. Maybe being away from Armenia in Latvia, and it's a pressure game for Latvia too. They don't want to be relegated. Maybe they poop the bed as well. So I think it's advantageous for Armenia to be on the road for that game.
I mean, let's see. That would be pretty big for Armenia to get another result against Latvia. So that would put them in a decent spot after everything we've went through in this Nations League, the ups, the downs, and the current downs right now. I mean, a win to end it off would be nice, but it still, I would say, doesn't solve the bigger problem.
Yeah, you don't want to get demoted, go to League D, and you're playing against these cupcakes.
Andorra and
Andorra, like
Gibraltar.
they're barely even countries. They're it's like they're the size of Boston, and they're called countries. But hopefully, we'll be here on Sunday. We will revisit this ordeal. Hopefully, Armenia gets a good result and stays alive in League C. And fingers crossed that happens. But right now, it's not looking good.